Monitoring of soil quality is as important as monitoring air and water quality, and this can be done mainly through soil indicators. Soil indicators tell us about the health of the soil and whether it is suitable for growing crops or not. So basically, there are three kinds of indicators. They are physical indicators, biological indicators, and chemical indicators. So under physical indicators come soil texture and structure, soil compaction, water retention capacity, soil crusting, etc. Soil texture refers to the size, relative proportion of sand, silt, and clay in the soil. So it gives a fairly good idea about the soil fertility. Sand has small surface area, low water retention capacity, and low chemical activity, whereas silt particles have higher surface area than the sand but little chemical activity. Clay particles have very large surface area and a very high chemical activity, and the nutrients and water attached to their surfaces. The three types of soil are clay soils, sandy soils, and loamy soils. Water holding capacity in clay soil is high because of many medium and small pores, but aeration is limited. But there is low water holding capacity in sandy soil because of many big pores, but it provides good aeration. The most suitable soil for cropping is loamy soil, as they contain favorable proportion of sand, silt, and clay. Next is soil compaction. So compaction of soil depends on the clay content of soil. A highly compact soil leads to very low infiltration and percolation rate, poor drainage, aeration, and restricted root growth, indicating poor health of soil. Soil aggregate. Soil particles are bound together to form soil aggregates. So, through the stability of these aggregates, the health of the soil can be determined. Next, soil crusting, which happens when the top soil drying up after rainfall. And as I've told, water retention capacity means the ability of the soil to hold water. So, clay soil can hold more water than the coarse textured soils. Next is infiltration rate. They are of two types, a short infiltration time and a long infiltration time. In short water infiltration, the water moves rapidly downward through the soil, means there is good pore space and aggregate stability. Whereas a long infiltration time shows that the soil is compacted. Next is biological indicators. Biological indicators include microbial population, organic matter content, nitrogen mineralization, and soil respiration. Microbes that present in the soil are bacteria, fungi, actinomycetes, algae, etc. Some of these microorganisms may be very harmful, not only for us but also for plants and animals. But there are others also which are very much useful for improving the soil structure, breaking organic matter, and for recycling nutrients. The organic matter present in the soil is variable. It is unstable and its decomposition is brought about by soil microorganisms. The more the organic matter, the better is the soil health. Next is nitrogen mineralization. Nitrogen is important for the plants for the synthesis of protein. So, the conversion of organic non available form of nitrogen to its usable form with the help of microorganisms is known as nitrogen mineralization. More nitrogen available for the plants is an indication of better soil health. Next is soil respiration. So, it is a popular method of estimating soil health. Carbon dioxide that release from the soil surface is known as soil respiration. The gas comes from several sources, including aerobic microbial decomposition of soil organic matter or SOM to obtain energy for their growth and functioning. During the decomposition of SOM, that is soil organic matter, these organic nutrients contained in organic matter are converted to inorganic form that are available for plant uptake. This conversion is known as mineralization. So we can say soil respiration is also known as carbon mineralization. There are several factors which affect soil respiration. So soil respiration rate depends on the amount and quality of SOM, temperature, moisture and aeration. Soil respiration increases with increasing soil moisture. But increase in moisture results in lack of aeration, which decreases the respiratory rate in the organism. Chemical fertilizers may stimulate root growth and nourishes microbes. But if concentration of some fertilizers become high, then it may harm the microbes which are responsible for soil respiration because of change in pH and their potential toxicity. Next one is chemical indicators. So under chemical indicators, it comes pH value of soil and soil salinity. pH measures the acidity or alkalinity of the soil. Because at optimum pH, some chemical processes takes place inside the soil. It also affect the availability of the plant nutrients. So the optimum pH range is from 5.5 to 7. So pH value can be determined by using litmus paper or through observation of flora. So if you use litmus paper, you will find that if the soil solution is acidic, then the blue litmus will turn to red. And if it is basic, then the red litmus paper will turn to blue. Even by observing the growth of particular kind of plants, we can understand whether the soil is acidic or basic. For example, a plant named calcifuges grow in acidic soil, whereas calcicoli prefer basic soils. Next, soil salinity can be measured by making a soil solution in water. And using a salinity meter, you can measure the salinity of the soil, means how much dissolved inorganic salt present in it.